एक second record. Ah, good day, Captain Karanjikar Saab, and good evening to our viewers. Captain Karanjikar Saab is presently in US, and he took his precious time off to come to our channel. Thank you so much, sir. As far as Captain Karanjikar's accolades, his achievements are concerned, he had been a kind of a legend from the maritime point of view. Right from the beginning, during after his sea career, he has also started facilitating the port authorities, port facilities, infrastructure. He has also contributed a lot into a maritime community as far as facilitating the seafarers' right. Even kind of having a connivance with the seafarer with the shipping companies to promote them or to educate them how to bring the gap between maritime fraternity and the shipping industry together. Also, he had been a kind of advisor to the DG Shipping quite a few times. At present, the reason why we have requested him to come our channel, so this is the second time he has come to our channel, is because the book what he has written, it has been a top of the tongue. It has been so much promulgated and so much talked about, which is in tandem and aligned with our present government's blue economy and blue seas, which certainly, talks complementing to each other. Captain Gajanan Karajikar, sir, welcome to you on our show. Thank you so much for coming on our show, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for this humble introduction. Thank you so much. And I've been doing what I need to do or what maritime requires at times. It's been a career of 36 years so far, which of that 17 years gone in selling, and thereafter I've lived in China, Singapore, Dubai, now in US. So I've been there, done that, kind of thing. So yeah, the culmination point came to the book, and this is my first book. I have been contributing to the other books as well for all these years, but then this is my first book which I wrote. Of course, a lot of people have come back to me with the feedback of saying, this is the apt kind of book at the right time where the government of India is going on that maritime trajectory, and Prime Minister himself is talking about blue economy. So I think I hope this book, does what it's supposed to do, helps government in bridging those policy gaps. Let's see. Let's take it one by one forward. This is not the last book I'm going to write. So there are going to be many more coming up on the same subject, on different subjects. Because when you write for somebody, for the articles in the newspapers or magazines, you have limitations for the words. So when you write your own book, there is no limitation to yourself. So you can express what you have in mind. Plus, you also have a complete autonomy to say what you want to say and call a spade a spade. This is how I've been all my life. Whether it was the All India Maritime Pilot Association president or whatever lobbying we did for the pilot safety globally. I've been truthful to the case, and somehow then God has placed me in US now with the accident investigation portfolio, where I take part in a lot of smaller, bigger accident investigations in US, in Mississippi River, particularly in the Gulf ports. So that has also given me an edge to speak as to what it is and what is for the benefit of the industry. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction.
Sir, what I see, though I have not read the whole book so far, but the excerpts what I've seen, the page what I've read, it certainly is becoming a talk of the town that yes, you just hit the nail at the right point, right time, and at the right spot, as well as the blue economy and in tandem with the government's policy. My question to you, sir, is that what motivated you out of all these operational matters to author this book, sir?
No, no, very good question, sir. Thank you very much for asking this because I do like to explain this in detail. It was in 2015 in Singapore when I was working for Mercator Limited in Singapore. And that's the first time our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji spoke about blue economy in Seychelles. I believe it was 11th or 13th of March 2015. And as the thing has, like, when you're abroad, you do look at your leadership speaking abroad on various subjects. So I happened to see that speech or hear that speech on TV. And the way, I mean, the things he was talking, Seychelles being very small island, and they were progressing in blue economy. And Narendra Modi that time was talking about, how India would look at the blue economy and things like that. Let it aside the political part of it or geopolitical part of it, but he spoke his mind. And then when I heard that speech, I realized, this should have been our subject. I mean, I've been at sea. Mariners have been at sea. I mean, see, we always complain that, this is Marina's portfolio and somebody else has taken it. Or IS, IFS, IPS officer has taken it. IRTS has taken it. But then I said, Marinas don't come forward. So that is the time I started studying about the blue economy. And of course, the Scandinavian countries were the foremost in inventing in the blue economy. Japan was there. So when I read those projects and various opinions of World Bank and even the UN about the blue economy and things like that, and 2015 is a time when the Millennial Development Goals shifted to Sustainable Development Goals from MDG to SGD. And
Okay.
Sustainable Development Goals, they came with the vision of 15 years, and then Millennium Development Goals had no place for marine or maritime. But the Sustainable Development Goals, goal number 14, is life underwater. And I was very delighted. I said, this is good. So when I read those papers about it, I said, this is all about me. This is all about shipping. This is all about transportation. This is about ocean. This is about water. What are we doing about it? So then that I spent considerable time of those years. I shifted to India in 2016. There I got more time. I was in Sikar Logistics in Chennai. And
Okay.
2018-19, I started writing essays because I'm till today. I mean, I wrote a book about 2 months back. The book has reached to many people. But till today, if you ask the mariner about the blue economy, they wouldn't know about it. So 90% of mariners haven't heard the term. Remaining 5%, they know the term, but they don't know what it means. And remaining 5% are just, they don't even know about it. I mean, though they are involved somewhere here and there, but not done any great work as such. So I started writing essays. I wrote hundreds of essays and articles on this topic, and it gave me a lot of people came back to me in those days and congratulating me and saying that very good, you're exploring a new
Horizon.
era, our new area for us. Ocean being our core, we
Mhm.
still don't know about 95% of the ocean today. So I said, okay, fine. So I will keep doing this. And then I shifted to US in 2024, and thereafter when I was, I had the entire, material with me. I got little time in US, free time. So I said, let me collect this, my all essays and see if the one book can be made. I tossed this idea to many people in shipping, including daily shipping, and they all were like, oh, very good. I mean, this is something is required. So I was thinking I will collate all the papers of mine, put it in the manuscript, and see 2027, 28 maybe when everything is ready, I will put the book on table, for people. But to my surprise again, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji spoke about the
Okay.
entire blue economy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear loud and
Again,
clear.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji spoke about blue economy on 2nd of October 2024-25 in Bhavnagar. I listened to that entire speech, and to my surprise, he spoke all those things which I had been writing in those 100 essays. Talk about shipbuilding, talk about, I mean, starting with the maritime share of India and this and that, how can we progress on maritime, endeavors in India and ports and Sagarmala, and the seabed mining. And so I said, "Arey, I'm sure that he's not read my essays. He doesn't have that much of time, or the essays may not have reached him. But how come he has spoken, I mean, all those lines, what I wrote in 2018-19 about the blue economy in 100
So you
essays?
had a brief wavelength with our great Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, having the country at helm.
Yeah, so I said, oh, this is the right time now to publish a book. So I went to publisher, and then Marex was busy with some the conferences and all that. So I had to find one young publisher in Bombay, which is Amit Suri, and he agreed to publish this book. And he said he'll do it in 2 months' time. That was good because see, writing a book is easy. After that, what happens to the book? I mean, publishing it. It is really a nightmare for an author because we are not been to that grind and we don't know what the processes are. So I had to completely depend on him, and this is how the book, in December it came out, and he formulated it in. I mean, it has come out well. I believe so because I have written many, of my minds there about ocean and inland waterways and things like that. So this is how it started and how it ended. But then this is not the last book on the subject because I have in my mind many subjects which can really relate to this kind of a narration and take the nation forward the most maritime way it deserves. Thank you, sir.
In a way, sir, thank you. In a way, your book has come probably at the right time when we are in now kind of a crux of the matter as far as this war scenario is concerned. On one hand, we are talking about the blue economy, trying to basically, enhance or increase the trade and not only that, the blue water navy, blue economy or blue water, everything is looks pretty good. But under these doldrums, what we are surfacing now with the war scenario in the Persian Gulf, which certainly is a mecca of oil trading, exporting country. So, what's your perception from that point of view, sir, coming from your perception of Blue Bharat? How do you think the country will be able to come out of these difficult situations? What's your view? Because since you already talked about what the government of India should do to basically capitalize on the shipping and the trading and basically the GDP read in your recap that may come to 2047 by 10 to 12%. But don't you think there might be a declination now, or there might be a decline now because of this stopgap arrangement or the present scenario of the oil crisis all over the globe?
Yeah, sure, sir. I will take this to answer in many folds. So first of all, the blue economy, one is that, use of our ports, our waterways, our oceans, that can, integrate the resources to national economic grid. That's one of the very foremost important thing. So once we are there with that, now suppose you take a case of shipping. We have the import and export happening by ships. We all talk about 90% value of goods and 90% of volume of goods being transported by the sea. And, I mean, we know all those percentage and jargons and data is with us as to how many ships pass through the, Indian Ocean out of the world of, 65,000 vessels. But having said that, the geopolitical scenario will always keep evolving. But there's something called as, sovereignty of the nation, which everybody, I mean, you would see if you just analyze the defense budgets of each country, how it has evolved in last 50 years. It is enormous. So there is a geopolitical scenario evolving in every, continent or a part of the continent. The present war situation, of course, has created a big blockade. But then, you know, you always have an opportunity in crisis. Countries which think, or leadership of a country which thinks this way, has a miles to go. Because they can explore various other options, various other, the parameters of trading, and we can really go ahead. So, of course, the oil movement and requirement of oil and energy today is on the higher side because of the industrialization, because of the people having, quest to grow, the companies having, the quest to emerge into different technologies. The companies which will invest in blue economy are not going to be different. They're going to be on similar lines. So that also is going to be affected by the geopolitical scenarios. This is how I have written about, a governance of the ocean part. I'm also pursuing my PhD in ocean governance on marine spatial planning.
Great,
So this
great,
is
great.
how
You're quite a
uh,
learned
in,
man,
in India,
Kalanjikar.
from MIT, yeah, MIT ADT. So I'm doing it from there, and this is going to be a first PhD probably in the world on the subject. So I wanted to also do that because unless we have a good governance policy, good laws about doing business on the ocean, on the water, we won't be able to give a firm ground to the investors. So the sole idea of thing is that Atmanirbhar Bharat, we do it ourselves, we do it in our own country, where we have the huge market of 145, crores of people. So we don't really need any other markets in the world to, sell our goods to. If our purchase parity increases of all Indian people, that is the income, that is expendable income as well. So when we do all these things, and these are all possible. So I said, I mean, since the government is now willing, they had a will, now they have a kill on the blue economy. They're putting a 73,000 crore package into the shipbuilding. Another 1.5 lakh crore is in pipeline for the various blue economy projects. So I said, let me get this book out now, so at least I can speak my mind to the government and say where the policy gaps exist. It is not that we are not using the blue economy in the India now. We are using water transportation, we are using fishing industry, we are doing something on the energy sector as well. We are doing for the hydrogen extraction and the hydrogen cells and things like that. All that is said, my thing was to create an awareness in people about the ocean. Number one. Number two, how do you protect it? Once you're aware of it, then you protect it. When you protect it, you make it grow. And when it grows to an extent, it can economically benefit you. So it would start from small water bodies. Where I live, a place in Nasik, about 10 kilometers from there, about 90 water bodies are there. I must have visited at least half of them, asking villagers, asking people as to what do you do with these water bodies? And the answer was none, other than illegal, the lifting of water for irrigation purposes. So that should not be the case. When you have a water body next to your house, you should know how to protect it. You should know what the water hygiene means. What this water can do to you economically, whether it's aquaculture, whether we don't have a single aquaculture, mariculture plant in India today. So this is saddening, and this is not because of anything else. This is not because of money or people or knowledge. This is all about the pollutions of the river, where we can't do anything, any mariculture at the confluence of river and ocean. And on aquaculture, we are not so caring about the water resources in a country to protect them, to promote this kind of a thing. See China, for that matter, if you see the statistics, the entire domestic consumption of China, same kind of population, they are more non-vegetarian eaters in China than India.
Yes.
The entire national consumption of protein coming from fish is totally grown in aquaculture. What they catch at sea, they export. We also export fish, but at the cost of not providing to our citizens. So we don't have, so we whatever we catch at sea is divided between domestic consumption and international exports. A good quality stuff would go to the international export. A little lesser quality stuff would come to the domestic consumptions. You know. So there are many ways to do this. There are many, I mean, fishing industry requires a complete revamp. I always jokingly say that the Indian Ocean is the only ocean where the fishes, die of old age because we don't have a capacity to catch them.
Okay.
So these are
Yeah,
these are the things.
we must have come across somewhere down the line during selling assignment the Pusinas, where they catch the tunas and then they factorize them, and then by such time the vessel arrives port, it is ready to be sold.
Exactly, exactly.
So,
Similarly,
Captain,
on yeah. So
Anji,
go ahead,
Anji,
sir. Sorry.
please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
No, no,
Please
go
go ahead.
ahead. I was telling something else. Anyway, you go ahead, sir. No
Please
problem.
go ahead. Please continue. I have something in mind. I will ask you later. Please go ahead, sir.
No, similarly on the fishing sector, similarly there are sectors like emerging sectors like microtechnology, microbiology. I mean those sectors really require a very good kind of a policy, and everything today in the world is looked at from the sustainability kind of a lens. So the regulation, the law, the governance for all these emerging projects, whether it is marine spatial planning, whether you go to do. I mean, we have a green national green tribunal and all that thing, but how they are governed without any data in place. So there are a lot of projects like seabed mining is one of the very important promising with Indian continental shelf having a highest, the mining subjects of cobalt and nickel. We could make billions and trillions of dollars out of it. But then we need to understand first, number one, number two, promote it, protect it, and then see how we can extract economic value out of it without damaging the environment. And this is what the entire book is about.
So, as you know, Captain Pravantika, we are here also to talk about your book and talk about your synopsis, what you have just mentioned. My question to you is that, how do you think your book aligns with the present government's policy so that, we become a kind of we are a maritime nation, but how can we excel to be one of the best or one of the, the most productive maritime nation in the world? As far as your book is concerned, what have you talked about? Can you give us views on gist about it so that we will have more viewers and more people to basically read your book?
Absolutely, sir. I mean, that was in my mind. See, we made a blue economy. We started writing about blue economy policy of India in 2019, and the government of India, I was part of it. So, government of India came out with the policy document, which is in the draft stage still on 21st September 2021, and that document is still in draft stage. And what was concluded in all those meetings of blue economy policy making was that we don't have a data at the moment as to what we have in our pockets of blue economy. So the idea of to get the policy out was to do the measurement of data. Once we have the data with us, then we can look at whether what it can contribute and how do we explore this to a private sector or to a foreign investments or whatever it is. So similarly, when I was writing this book, I said, okay, I mean, informing people about blue economy, talking about data, intelligence, big data, and all those things is fine, is one side. But what actually can we do in India? What projects can we do and where? That kind of study I wanted to take over. And I did that for almost 1.5 years in 2024-25, I believe. And I came out with, so the last 5 chapters of this book are all about, you know, how do we how do we go ahead? What is the road map ahead? So one side you have a policy gap to be bridged between the existing blue economy policy, if it is there for the investors to take. And second thing is to what the industry requires. If you're looking at $40 trillion economy tomorrow, I mean 2047, that is a
Yeah,
developed nation.
right.
So we have a huge, $36 trillion to gap to bridge. Though 30-40% will come from the land-based kind of projects of manufacturing, industrialization, and exports. But ocean today has capacity in Indian perspective to contribute to 40% of GDP.
I think it
But
may be
they,
more. This is my raw perception because, as we know, 70% of the globe constitutes water.
true, I'm talking about Indian perspective as to what we have 11,000 kilometers of coastline and 1.25 square kilometers of EEZ.
Right.
So I'm talking about that perspective. So it will start creating 2 trillion per year the day we start all these projects. So book also has that kind of a in one of the chapters, I couldn't stop myself, but one of the chapters I have given a plan to government for 5 years. I mean, I'm not
What
a
kind of
not
plan
a
would
not
you
a
like
not an
to
economic minister.
apprise us of? What kind of plan are we talking about, Captain Karajika?
The plan is that how do you first do measurement of these projects? How do we start these projects from a very low cost, you know, low labor intensive, kind of things. And in one of the chapters, I couldn't stop myself to scale that value to 2040. I've even given them a plan for 5 years, like first 3 months, then next 6 months, then next 9 months, then 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, like that. I mean, I hope it is taken in the right spirit, and I'm not a finance minister, or not a person who will dictate to
I have
government
a
as to what to
question.
do.
I'm sorry to interject you, sir.
Please go
When
ahead, sir.
you thought of authoring this book, what segment of your readers did you target? Did you think about that this book of yours uh, may certainly try to give a food for the thought, not only for the present government, the maritime industry, but also facilitate the shipping industry from the point of view what you're talking about, sir.
See, sir, this book is about the blue economy, which is the ocean economy. Whoever is interested among the mariners, among the seafarers, we have very limited career options. I mean, at least as of now, because we are not seeing the people making great into the careers in ocean. So we need to create that for the students. This is one book. One purpose
Basically,
is
you
that.
are saying you need to create opportunity besides being
True.
barren into the environmental aspect of the ocean and the ocean technology and the bio, your environmentalists or bio mariners, whatever the hierarchy is.
Exactly. Exactly. So mariners who are interested in this book is definitely for the government officers. There are 9 ministries involved in blue economy. From Commerce Ministry to Ministry of Shipping to Ministry of Earth Sciences, Ministry of Animal Husbandry, under which fishing comes, you know, Ministry of Trade, International Relations, External Affairs. 9 ministries, so 9 ministries, machineries involved in this. Those people must have this book with them. And sir, I'm not waiting for them to buy it. I mean, from the day one when I was writing a book, I sent 25 copies to Delhi from Prime Minister to everybody. I got the replies from them as well, which will be published in the next edition of the book when I make the next edition. But idea was that they must have this book to understand what a mariner who has been there, done that kind of thing, is saying about it. Because these opportunities in India for saying for the mariners are also very less. You see, in many
Well, we
government
can do one
committees,
thing from our point of view. If you have allows the access, we will forward it to the concerned personnel who we may have, we are in contact with them and request them to have a look at it with your perception. But prior to that, I will also go through it complete work. And definitely, we will highlight all your perseverances, all your endeavors you have so far been, trying to make it single-handedly. We are trying to make it in such a manner that collectively we try to achieve your goal.
no, thank you very much, sir. I will definitely send you 2 copies. That's one thing. But idea was that that government should know. I mean, see, the you see
I
everybody's
fully concur with you. I fully concur with you, Captain Karanchakar.
Everybody knows that the world shipping companies are run by mariners and they are Indians. Billions of dollars of companies worth trillions of dollars of worth assets are run by the Indian, top bosses, CEO, presidents, vice presidents, all Indian mariners, learned in India, learn from Indian shipping. But still, the government is lethargic in getting these people into machinery. Whatever the reasons is there for that. So writing this book also was by quest that the mariners are there. They have been there, done that. So you please take them. I mean, you see the many government committees today. There are hardly any mariners involved in marine projects. I mean, just having one, two mariner is not going to give you the perspective. You need to have this, I mean, we also are not organized well, a very fragmented industry, the industry which is operating out of solos. So, but my also request through this book is to those people who have interest in the subject, who have reached to the government, and who are in committees, who can really, read the book, talk about it, and explain as to. I mean, forget they can remove my name from it. My name has got nothing to glorify.
No, 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 no,
The
no, no. Let's
subject.
not talk about, let's be factual that if you have been an entrepreneur and kind of a legend who has put your thoughts in a positive perspective, then your name certainly has to be there. You have earned
So
it,
the
Captain Kalashkar.
dedication for the book reads is in Sanskrit.
Yes, sir.
Rashtraya Swaha Idam Rashtraya Idam Na Mama. So
Okay,
yeah,
yes,
sir,
yes.
this is blue economy. I mean, somebody told me that day about blue economy. How did you, come about all this concept? I said, no, I did not invent the concept. The concept is there for last 5,000 years. We have come to a stage where we talk about AI, machine learning, and so much of intelligence and data available in the world. We are at the turning point today where we need to explore that into a ocean economy. It could be a turn of an elephant. I'm not saying no. It is. But I'm very glad that Prime Minister himself is leading for the front, has spoken about 45
Certainly,
minutes.
I also, from my personal perspective, I also commend our great Prime Minister Modi Saab. He has been a limelight to our nation. He's the one who has brought us from kind of ruins from 2014 onwards until now. Today, we have a recognizable kind of not only the industry but individual also. Today, we go anywhere across the world, the people look at us with a high pride.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So since he is leading it from the front and spoke about 45 minutes, on the blue economy other day in Bhavnagar, I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed with not only, I mean, he speaks extempore anyway. So if the non-mariner person, a person like him, can speak about the blue economy for 45 minutes, I'm sure mariners can speak about 45 hours, at least in a year. So if all those mariners come together, all those organizations, all those so-called seafarer pro, maritime pro organizations come forward and talk about this subject and taking this book into account, I'll be very happy because it will create a momentum. And why I hurried in publishing this book was that because I didn't want to lose that momentum. I'm thankful to all of our maritime community that they all came back. I mean, I must have received at least 200 WhatsApp messages so far and 100 emails about praising the book. I can't really publish all of them, but that itself will go one full book, of the praises. But idea is not that. I mean, Nalanda University's Vice Chancellor Sachin Chaturvedi wrote a foreword about it. Our
Great,
ex-DG
great.
Amitabh Kumar wrote a foreword about it. And
Amitabh Kumar was
when
there with me also on an interview some time back, and we spoke about the training point of view, training perspectives.
yeah. So he also wrote a foreword on that. So idea was that to I mean, Mr. Chaturvedi, VC of Nalanda University, liked it so much that I mean, he has also got a couple of his professors involved of Maritime Center of Excellence and things like that from the Nalanda University. And Nalanda University is a Vishwavidyalaya. So I want to
Yes,
really
yes.
do something about the subject through them
That's going back to our
moving
roots,
forward.
sir.
Yeah,
That's going back to our roots. Nalanda
absolutely, sir.
Vishwavidyalaya, of
Absolutely,
course, of course, of
absolutely,
course.
absolutely.
So, sir, really, it has been a very enlightening to hear from your point of view that what motivated you, what sort of research you had carried out, how you're trying to facilitate the Indian government in tandem with our great Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, and our present industry, and what all sort of, researches or sort of, things what you have speeded out, which certainly may help the government and the fishery industries. And through this medium and mode, along with Captain Gajanan Karajikar, I very humbly and strongly urge to our respected, people or the Ministry of Fishing and this Ministry of Shipping to please not only try to promulgate this book, but also try to follow what Captain Gajanan Karajikar has, persevered into. What I have, understood in last 40 odd minutes of view of both of us chatting that he's not only a true Indian but also a beacon of India in US.
Mm.
And
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
is,
I mean, I thank you very much
you
for
can,
this.
when you do your PhD, you may certainly be, make wonders, Captain Karanchikar.
No, no, thank you very much, sir. I mean, we need this kind of dialogues and podcast and
Yes,
the
yes,
online
I will
interviews
try
for people to
to
know.
promulgate this podcast or this interview of ours to as many media persons as possible because your venture will certainly, as far as to the best of my knowledge and ability is concerned, will definitely not go in vain, Captain Karan Shekhar.
Right. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time as well. You've been very enthusiastic in talking about new
I
subjects and
had been, in fact, viewers, I'll tell you, Captain Gajanan Karanjikar, since now he's settled in the US, he had been so busy that I had to literally speaking chase him because he's been busy with so many of his, meetings and so many of his things in US where he certainly is becoming probably, as I said, a beacon for us, all of us. So I really, once again, thank you so much, Captain Gajanan Karanjikar to be with us. Thank you so much, sir. And as what we spoke, that we will try to not only promote, but we are there with you. We are there with you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, sir.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Vande Mataram. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good day, sir.